After Gran Turismo Sport didn't exactly light the world on fire, releasing on PS3 when the PS4 was already out, and thus was one of Polyphony Digital's lesser selling entries, the next game in line was made not to be a typical sequel and changed things up a lot. The new direction for the racing sim franchise was launched in 2017 and divided the fan base. Some didn't like the new emphasis on online, and some embraced its new form of esports. Hey guys, Jehuti here, and I just played Gran Turismo Sport, a Jehuti gaming review. Now it is no lie that Gran Turismo is one of the most successful and longest running driving simulator games out there. But Sport is a different kind of beast, in a lot of ways. Let's just get this out of the way immediately. To get the most out of this game, you need a permanent internet connection. Yes, that's right, it's one of those games. Doesn't matter if you just want to check out the single player content. Without a link to the World Wide Web, you can only access arcade mode. At launch, Gran Turismo Sport was, well, bare bones. Just above 160 cars, not many courses, very few campaign mode events, dubbed here as GT League. Be that as it may be, Polyphony Digital really supported this game and each month released 3 new cars and tracks for 2 years. As of this review, there are no more major updates, but the game is now quite feature-rich. They brought back favorite courses, although Midfield Raceway and Trial Mounted were never added. We still got great stuff like Sarthe, the Le Mans 24-hour course, Laguna Seca, Spa, and I still think that GT has the best version of the Nürburgring Nordschleife in any racing sim out there. The car count has also been bumped up to almost 340. Adding vehicles from all sorts of manufacturers, as well as from oldies, new hypercars and sports cars, as well as some other oddities. Speaking of cars, driving 50 kilometers a day gives you a free random car. These so-called mileage points can also be used to buy weekly rotating items in the item shop, but also to tune your cars. Unfortunately, the tuning has also been dumbed down to such an extent that I wonder why it's even in the game. In prior entries, this was somewhat a complex endeavor in which you balanced out certain elements and thus you were not just mindlessly upgrading everything on your car. Now it is essentially just leveling up from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. I personally find that this is the weakest aspect of Gran Turismo Sport. I get why they did it, so that online can be more balanced for casuals, but making it this simple just doesn't sit right with me. The second weakest aspect is the GT League from the main campaign mode. It doesn't feel like you're gradually progressing like with the previous entries. You're not working your way up slowly and then deciding with the little money you make if you should buy a new car, tune your old one, or just save up your money. They just feel like different events that are not really connected. In all fairness, here too they've been adding content with new events, and there are quite a few to choose from now. However, I wasn't too keen on playing them because the GT League lacked that feeling of progression. Now I can actually start talking about the aspects I like when it comes to GT Sport. Driving School makes a return and I liked what they had on offer here. A wide variety of challenges that become more and more challenging without feeling overbearing. There are also mission challenges that spice up things and are slightly harder. In these two modes, we have our brake challenges, clearing certain course sections with a certain specific car in a specific time, knocking down traffic cones in a time limit. It really does a good job of showing you the ropes, gradually teaching you stuff about cars and the way they handle. Plus it also gives you the sensation of driving a variety of cars, some really fast, some fun, some just, well, interesting. As an added incentive, you also earn new cars every couple of tests. An additional learning tool is the new to GT Sport circuit experience. Here you're given a track and a car. The track is then broken into sections, so that you tackle and learn the course in stages. Your knowledge then comes all together in a run of the whole course. I wish this option of breaking down the tracks into sections was a thing for time trials with a car of your own choice. Maybe in Gran Turismo 7. Now the online mode is the heart of Gran Turismo Sport. And honestly, this is where the deciding factor is if you want to play the game or give it a hard pass. It's dubbed Sport Mode, and honestly I really like it. You choose an event from the badly named daily races, more on that a bit later. The online events are scheduled to start at a specific time, so you can do something else in that time or work on your qualifying time so that you can place higher on the starting grid. You then race against up to 19 other racers. Now to me, the standout to this is the penalty system and the sportsmanship rating. The penalty system first. If you drive aggressively, in other words, bump into your opponents or even push them off course, you will be penalized with a time penalty. If you cut corners, you will also be penalized. Most of the time it works, but there's the occasional, once in a while moment where you feel that you've been wrongly penalized. This also feeds into the sportsmanship rating. So based on how clean, in quotation, you drive overall in the race, your sportsmanship rating will improve, become worse, or stay the same. It's used to group you in with similar racers. So if you drive dirty, then those are most likely the people you'll be driving with. My only gripe with the sports mode are the daily races, and that they are called daily races. They refresh once a week, so why even call them daily races? Honestly, they should have been refreshed at a daily rate, in my opinion. If you don't like any of the 3 race events, well, tough luck. You will have to wait another week. Due to this system as well, at the end of the week you won't stand a chance since other racers have perfected their qualifying times and racing skills for that specific event the whole week. Well, if sports mode isn't your taste, there are also lobbies you can join or create yourself, of course with customizable variables. There are also the gateway to esports events, but honestly I didn't try them because I'm not that good, but you may want to give them a go. Outside of the online, there's a livery editor. It's new and it works. I'm not that good at creative stuff, so I just download liveries from others in the community and apply them to my cars. We also got DLC with GT Sports. The first is of the free kind. It's called Scapes and goes hand in hand with the game's photo mode. Scapes is essentially a collection of 3D photos taken at different locales around the world. You can then place your in-game car into the photo and create your own car porn. It looks surprisingly convincing. For roughly $8 or your region's equivalent, you can get yourself the Hamilton DLC. It's a bunch of time trials with times Lewis Hamilton himself set. If you complete it, you can hold double as much credits, so 100,000, and you get a handsome money reward for it. Apart from that, I don't really see this DLC as worth it. No new cars or tracks, so in my eyes you're just paying for Lewis Hamilton's name. If you don't need it, don't buy it. From a presentational standpoint, the game looks really good, especially the cars look phenomenal. The game can render at 1800p checkerboarded. It is one of the earlier implementations of checkerboarding and honestly doesn't look that convincing on a 4K TV. HDR on the other hand is very impressive. It may be one of the earlier games to receive high dynamic range, but boy did they take their time to optimize it. So it doesn't come over as overdone. The car's metallic lacquering is really convincing and still holds up today. Generally the car models hold up well. But because of the attention to detail on the cars, the shortcomings on some of the courses stick out more. Some of these can seem a bit sterile honestly. Don't get me wrong, overall this is still one of the best looking racing games even today. I should however mention that cars still don't have a proper damage model. I was never disturbed by this, but for some that is a deal breaker. In a minimalistic way, the menus are really stylish. The main menu especially oozes elegance. However, there are too many steps in between menus and load times are a tad too long. Some placements within the menu are also questionable, meaning that you will take some time before you know where everything is and how to navigate the menus as efficient as possible. On a side note, the music cannot be customized in the jukebox like in prior entries. Means that if you don't like some specific songs, well, you will have to listen to them either way or disable the entire soundtrack. Something else I don't like is the chase cam, or third person view. It's been really stiff since GT4, and here they added some settings to help you counter that, but honestly a default cam that is slightly more action-like and turns a bit more with the car would have been nice. Don't worry, on the other hand, the cockpit perspective is very detailed and immersive. It also allows for height and seat length positioning. Overall, Gran Turismo Sport is a very good game, especially if you want to delve into the online mode. Keep in mind, however, that Polyphony Digital tends to shut down their online components in their old games a year after the new entry is released. If you're interested, that shouldn't stop you, however, as the game can be bought dirt cheap on the regular, both physical and digital. There's a whole lot of game here to keep you occupied for a while. Maybe not as much as in prior games, especially if you want a single player experience that makes you feel like you're progressing meaningfully. Anyways, thanks for watching the review till to the end. Consider subscribing to the Juhuti Gaming channel to get the latest reviews and other content as they come out. This is your boy Juhuti, and I'll see you on the next I Just Played review.